Officials banned this fishing approach from all tournaments for a clear reason that still makes every pro smile in secret. Chuckles. Most anglers leave the bank empty-handed while a few empty whole lakes using everyday kitchen items. Those items create a powerful attractant that works hard in pressured waters when commercial baits completely fail you. I will show you the exact forbidden bait method that top anglers still employ quietly to dominate hard waters. After learning this, you will return to your favorite spots and catch fish that others cannot even touch. The real edge comes from scent chemistry that multiplies bites when fish have locked down completely on the stretch. Excited. Nothing fancy is required, yet the results leave everyone else wondering how you filled the net so fast. Stay with me because the full chemistry and the story that changed everything come right after this. Pause. People call me Marcus Vance, and I have spent 20 years mastering hard technical angling on tough rivers. My focus stays on hunting trophy catfish and carp with multi-rod pods plus exact bait chemistry every single time. I hold 2 state records for flathead catfish after pioneering European-style technical bank setups on American waters. Every river session feels like a chess match against the oldest and smartest fish holding in heavy current. From my riverbank base camp using bite alarms and multi-rod pods, I outthink fish that have seen every commercial bait. That quiet discipline has put more river monsters on the bank than any expensive package ever could for me. I operate with intense focus because these big fish punish every small mistake without any second chances given. The edge always comes from reading the water and adjusting chemistry rather than buying the next bright bottle. One autumn evening after a tough tournament ban, I watched a quiet angler pack up with a full net. He used nothing fancy, yet every rod screamed while the rest of us blanked hard that day. Later, over coffee, he admitted that the winning scent came straight from his kitchen cupboard at home. That single conversation changed how I approach every pressured stretch of river from that point forward. Have you ever noticed the guy who always leaves with fish while you struggle nearby on the bank? The difference was never the rod or the hook, it was the scent trail he created carefully each time. Write down below if that exact scene has frustrated you more than once this season already. Secrecy around such edges keeps the fish catching for those who refuse to broadcast every detail openly. The core scent chemistry multiplies bites hard when fish have locked down completely on pressured stretches. The forbidden mix starts with 3 everyday items you already own in most kitchens right now. Grab pure vanilla extract plus garlic powder and dark molasses, then mix them into a thick, sticky paste. Add 1 spoon of flour so the paste clings to your boilie or cut bait without washing off fast. Vanilla draws curious carp while garlic punches through heavy current for big flatheads in stained water. Molasses adds natural sweetness and weight, creating a slow dissolving cloud along the bottom for many hours. I once mixed this paste on a freezing December bank and watched every alarm scream within 15 minutes. Most anglers dump commercial glugs that scream artificial and push educated fish straight out of the swim. Apply the paste by rolling your hook bait through it until every surface carries a thin, even coat. Then add a tiny mesh PVA bag filled with the same mix crushed into loose crumb form carefully. Cast so the bag lands just upstream of your hook bait and lets current build the scent corridor. In heavy river flow, that corridor becomes a highway leading every hungry fish straight to your rig. I tested this against plain baits on the same rod pod, and the scented side outfished 10 to 1. Counterintuitive part is using less paste rather than loading it on thick like most beginners always do. Too much garlic can turn the swim sour after 1 hour, so start light and watch the response. Pressured waters punish anything that smells chemical, yet this blend mimics crushed natural forage perfectly every time. I remember the exact session that proved the method beyond any doubt on my home river stretch. 3 days of blanking hard with expensive European boilies left me frustrated and ready to quit the session early. I mixed the vanilla garlic molasses paste on the bank using a plastic cup and spare spoon. First cast with the PVA bag produced a screaming run from a 30-pound flathead in under 10 minutes. Two more double-figure carp followed before the hour ended while nearby anglers still sat motionless and silent. They asked what I changed, and I simply shrugged, then kept the answer to myself that afternoon. Secrecy keeps the edge alive because once everyone knows, the water gets harder for all of us. That is why tournament officials tried to outlaw any added kitchen scent under the broad attractant rules. Temperature and water clarity change how you fine-tune the exact ratios for maximum effect without any fail. In cold, clear water, increase the vanilla and cut the garlic by half for a subtler invitation. Warm, stained summer current needs extra garlic and molasses to punch through the murk and reach distant fish. Always mix fresh on the bank because the paste loses punch after sitting in a hot tackle box. I keep small bottles of each ingredient in my base camp kit, ready for any condition that appears. One winter session, the water dropped 2 degrees overnight, and only the adjusted lighter mix still produced bites. Everyone else stuck to their summer glugs and went home complaining the fish had stopped feeding completely. That contrast taught me the method is not magic, it is precise adjustment based on real conditions. Presentation turns the scent from a simple attractant into a deadly trap that few fish escape. Never just fling the bait out and hope the smell does all the heavy work alone. Place the hook bait on a short, stiff boom so it sits tight to the bottom scent trail. Use a light lead that does not slam the bottom and scare every nearby fish away instantly. In strong current angle, the cast slightly upstream so the PVA bag melts into a perfect line. I lost a true river monster years ago because my lead was too heavy and the presentation looked unnatural. The fish picked up the bait, then dropped it the second it felt resistance from the wrong setup. Write in the comments if you have ever hidden a bait trick from the guys fishing next to you. Since that day, every rig gets checked for balance before it ever hits the water again carefully. The scent brings them in, but the presentation is what makes them commit and stay hooked solid. The real power shows when the lake has been hammered all week and fish ignore everything else offered. Putting it all together requires patience and the willingness to ignore what the crowd is doing nearby. Arrive early, mix fresh paste, and set your rods with the scent corridor aimed at known holding spots. Sit on your hands for the first 40 minutes while the cloud builds and the fish begin investigating. The chemistry multiplies bites every time, but the reason tournaments fought so hard is what turns the edge permanent. How pros still empty lakes quietly despite the ban is the part that keeps this method deadly for those who know. Officials claimed the approach created unfair scent highways that turned open competition into a private feeding frenzy. Rules started listing any non-commercial kitchen additive as illegal ground baiting even when used in tiny amounts only. Top anglers simply mix smaller batches and apply them by hand away from the official check stations. They keep the bottles labeled as coffee creamer or cooking oil so nothing looks suspicious at first glance. I have seen record fish wade in while the winning paste sat hidden inside a sandwich bag. The ban never stopped the results, it only forced the best anglers to become better at staying quiet. That secrecy is exactly why the method still empties lakes long after the officials thought they won. Once you understand the politics, you realize the real game is played far from the cameras entirely. Pros never broadcast the mix online or talk about it at the weigh-in stage for good reason. They share it only with trusted partners who understand the value of keeping the edge alive longer. One state record holder told me he uses a double-strength batch only on the final day. That way the fish stay primed from lighter doses earlier and then smash the heavier scent later. I adopted the same schedule and watched my own catch rates climb during multi-day river sessions dramatically. The everyday items cost almost nothing yet. The return in trophy fish is measured in years of memories. Most weekend anglers will never believe something so cheap can outperform $200 bait packages so very easily. That disbelief is your advantage because they keep buying the bright bottles while you quietly fill the net. Operating from my riverbank base camp with bite alarms, I outthink fish that have seen every commercial bait there. Every river monster I have landed with this paste taught me something new about patience and observation. The method rewards the angler who treats the session like a long chess match against smart opponents always. I keep the mix simple, yet adjust the strength based on how the water responds each day. That approach has put more big fish on the bank than any other secret I have found yet. Discipline with the schedule separates the consistent catches from the random luck of other anglers nearby. Secrecy around such edges keeps the water productive for those who earn the right to use them well. The real power shows when everyone else has given up and gone home empty-handed already that day. The first take often comes as a gentle liner, then turns into a screaming run once they commit. I still get the same rush every time the alarm howls after a perfect scent setup lands right. Ignore the urge to recast every 10 minutes, because that only destroys the corridor you work to create. Let the river do the work and trust the chemistry you mixed with your own hands that morning. When the session ends, pack the bottles out of sight so the secret stays yours alone next time. Sitting still for those first 40 minutes goes against every impatient angler's natural urge to keep casting often. Yet that pause is exactly what builds the scent highway that produces the big screaming runs later. The cloud needs plenty of time to form and draw the fish from their safe holding areas. Once they start moving along the trail, the takes become almost inevitable if the presentation stays clean enough. I have watched entire banks of anglers recast constantly and blank while my rods stayed quiet, then exploded. The contrast proves the value of that disciplined wait more than any words ever could for me. Trust the process, and the chemistry does the heavy lifting for you right on the bottom. That is the second twist that turns good days into the ones you talk about for years. The final truth is this method forces you to fish smarter rather than harder or more expensive every time. You stop chasing the latest miracle bottle and start reading the water like the predator you should be. Each big catfish or carp taken on this pace showed me fresh lessons in waiting and watching the water closely. The ban only proved how well the technique works when the pressure is highest and the fish are wisest. You begin to see the river as a chessboard where scent and presentation decide every important move. Most of the hard work happens before the cast even leaves your hand on the riverbank. That mindset shift is what separates those who dabble from those who empty the water and smile. Discipline in the small details creates the big results when everyone else is struggling hard nearby. Next time you watch someone pack up with a full sling while your rods stay silent, remember the kitchen. Vanilla garlic and molasses cost less than a cup of coffee, yet they rewrite the entire day completely. They force you to fish like the patient predator the biggest fish respect on every tough stretch. The quiet edge stays with those willing to mix fresh and wait while the cloud does its job. I still smile when I think about how simple the whole thing remains after 20 years of testing. No expensive bottles required, just 3 kitchen staples, and the discipline to use them right every time. If this approach already helped you land a personal best, drop the details in the comments right now. That feedback helps me know which edges matter most to serious anglers like you out there fishing. Subscribe to the channel and hit like so you never miss the next edge that keeps the big ones coming. Drop a comment if you plan to try the pace this week on your home water stretch. Next time, I will show you the exact rig tweak that stops those last-second drop-offs that haunt every serious angler. The tweak pairs perfectly with this scent method to lock in more of the fish that pick up. Until then, take the kitchen items to the bank and watch what happens when the corridor forms properly. The difference shows up fast once you stop following the crowd and start thinking like a true hunter. Have you noticed the guy who always leaves with fish while you struggle nearby on the bank often? The difference was never the rod or the hook, it was the scent trail he created carefully each session. That scent trail from the kitchen is what rewrites blank days into full nets for those who use it. 20 years of technical angling taught me that the biggest edges hide in the simplest places, always on the bank. Go mix the pace this week and prove it to yourself on the water you know best right now. The old smart fish will respond when the commercial stuff has failed everyone else around you completely. Remember the quiet angler who packed up full while others blanked after that tournament ban years ago now. His kitchen secret became my most reliable tool for emptying pressured stretches of river every single season. Now it can become yours if you treat it with the same respect and discipline I do. Fish smarter, use the paste, and leave the lake with stories instead of excuses every time out there.